Fear is simply because you're not living with life, you're living in your mind. Your fear is always about what's going to happen next. That means your fear is always about that which does not exist. If your fear is about the non-existent, your fear is 100% imaginary. If you're suffering the non-existential, we call that insanity. People may be in just socially accepted levels of insanity. If you're afraid or if you're suffering anything which does not exist, people are always suffering, either what happened yesterday or what may happen tomorrow. So your suffering is always about that which does not exist, simply because you're not rooted in reality. You're always rooted in your mind. One part of it is memory, another part of it is imagination. Both of them are in one way imagination, because both of them don't exist right now. You're lost in your imagination. That's the basis of your fear. If you were rooted in reality, there would be no fear.
Fear has become a real practice for me. Years ago, I went skydiving. And skydiving is a really interesting confront with fear. So what happens is the night before, so then that night you're laying in your bed and you're terrified. You keep imagining over and over again jumping out of an airplane, and you can't figure out why you would do that. And you fall out of the airplane, and in 1 second you realize that it's the most blissful experience of your life. You're flying, right? Doesn't feel like falling, right? It's like you actually are kind of held a little bit by the wind, and then you start falling. There's zero fear. You realize that the point of maximum danger is the point of minimum fear. It's bliss, and you're flying. The lesson for me was, why were you scared in your bed the night before? What do you need that fear for? Just don't go. Why are you scared in your bed 16 hours before you jump? Why are you scared in the car? Why could you not enjoy breakfast? Fear of what? You're nowhere even near the airplane. Everything's up to the stepping out. There's actually no reason to be scared. It only just ruins your day. You don't have to jump. And then in that moment, all of a sudden, where you should be terrified is the most blissful experience of your life. And God placed the best things in life on the other side of your maximum fear are all of the best things in life.
What are the things that you fear that's been keeping you from living your dream, that's been keeping you from doing some things that you would like to do? Let's think about those things and how we begin to handle that. The life is about growth. And you can either go back to your comfort zone, and there you won't find any growth, or you must be willing to go forward and face your fears again and again and again, because you're never going to have a fear-free existence. I mean, some fear is acceptable and legitimate. There are some things that you really should be afraid of. Now, you shouldn't allow it to immobilize you. You acknowledge it, you take it into account, and you carry yourself accordingly. There are times that we should proceed with caution. But it's the difference between being stopped by fear. It's the difference between having a fear and the fear having you. So what do? One, acknowledge it, knowing that it's okay. Don't condemn yourself for being afraid. It's perfectly fine to have some fears. You acknowledge your fears, you embrace those fears, and then you move on.
You've lived a life dominated by doubt and fear. How do you step into bravery? That's how you step into bravery. Step aggressively towards your fear. And that step towards your fear is the step into bravery. We're scared of what we don't know. And there is only one way to learn and to know, and that is to confront that fear. You have to step, you have to go. And this simple action, this simple attitude, it answers so many questions. How do you get to the gym every day? You step, you go. How do you change your diet? You step, you go. How do you overcome fear of failure or fear of success or fear of fear itself? You step. And how do you face the fear of the unknown? You don't wait anymore, don't think anymore, don't plan anymore, don't contemplate anymore, don't make any more excuses or justifications, don't rationalize anything else. No, no, and no. Instead, be aggressive. Take action now.
Man's immortality is not living forever. Every moment free from fear makes man immortal.